What's up, guys? Welcome back to Airbnb ABCs. I get a lot of my video ideas from your comments, and one of the comments that comes up quite a bit is there anything other than Airbnb and VRBO where we should be looking to list your properties so that you can either try to get more bookings or just avoid the trials and tribulations that come along with Airbnb and VRBO? And I'm going to tell you right here at the beginning of the video, in case you don't want to dig in farther, is no. There's really no other place that is going to be able to replace those two platforms for getting bookings. But before you click off, hit that like button, subscribe down below, and maybe hang with me because I'm going to tell you guys about some of the things that people ask me questions about and some of the more promising items that are coming up down the pike that may have some ability to get your property in front of more eyes that aren't necessarily on Airbnb or VRBO. I get why people are not always happy with Airbnb and VRBO. Each one of those has problems, and each one of those I have been just to my wit's end and ready to throw my phone across the room trying to deal with their customer service. Because, you know, if you've been at this long enough, you're going to have some sort of problem either with a guest or with the platform itself, and it's going to drive you nuts, and you're going to want to try to find a better way to do things. The problem is that Airbnb and VRBO pretty much are the market right now. It's they control the vast majority of the short-term rentals, and really Airbnb has just become a household name, sort of like Kleenex, so that even when you are looking for a short-term rental, a lot of folks say that you know, we're going to go stay at an Airbnb. It may very well be a VRBO, but that doesn't have the roll off the tongue as Airbnb does. And so with that, they have just captured the market, and it's really hard to operate a short-term rental without being associated with one of those two platforms. The biggest alternative to that I've heard people talk about is Booking.com. That's a pretty well-known name at this point. They seem to be putting out a lot of advertising so that, you know, they can try to build their brand up. Everything that I've heard about this booking platform is just terrible. It's just awful. And I actually have not used this booking platform for anything. I haven't used it to book places on, and I haven't used it to list my places on. And before you ask me, like, how can you then say recommend it or not recommend it, having not used it, this is one of the few times in my life I have actually done the thing where I learn from other people's mistakes. And so I haven't listed mine with Booking.com, but I know and network with several hundred to several thousand people online who are, you know, just like you and me. They're just trying to make more money with their short-term rental investments. They're trying to diversify where they get their bookings from. And I've listened to the problems that people have had with Booking.com, and a lot of people have the same experience, and it is that just everything with Booking.com is terrible for their short-term rentals. A couple of the highlights that I've picked up from a lot of these folks is that there is a high percentage of cancellations and chargebacks. And you may not think the cancellations is terribly bad, but if you have, you know, 25% of your calendar taken up by these Booking.com reservations, it gets down to the last minute and they end up canceling, it's not likely that you're going to be able to, or it's at least less likely that you're going to be able to fill those with other bookings, be it Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, or a direct booking website or something like that. I've also heard that there's a high percentage of chargebacks, which is where the guest stays and then they go to their credit card and they say, we didn't stay, or we want the money back, or this is a fraudulent charge or something like that, or, you know, whatever it is. It's where the consumer challenges the charge, and the credit card company rules either in your favor or in the consumer's favor. A lot of times they go in the consumer's favor, especially I've heard with either Amex or Discover. One of those two is just almost 100% for the consumer. The hosting fees are extremely high on Booking.com, 15%, which is very much higher than the 3% that Airbnb charges you, or 8% that VRBO charges you. The customer service, I've heard, is even worse than Airbnb or VRBO, and maybe a combination of those put together. I've heard it's just terrible. And the weirdest thing is that you need to have a few bookings under your belt and completed before your location is verified, and you can take payments remotely. It's almost like their affiliation with hotel sites and having, you know, payment processing people on site. It has to be done before you can get payments without being on site. And so that just really doesn't work for the vast majority of short-term rental owners. And it works fine for hotels, but just isn't going to be a thing that most people are going to be able to accomplish. So From my reading and from the research that I've done and a lot of other people's really bad experiences, I would not recommend booking.com. This comes up about once every 3 to 6 months in the circles that I frequent, and every time everyone has pretty much the exact same outlook on it. I hear a lot of discussion as well about midterm rentals, and this has kind of become sort of a thing that's going on since the short-term rental thing kind of went nuts over the last 2 years now. I'm hearing a lot more about midterm rentals, sort of the way I was hearing about short-term rentals in like 2018, 2019. And the thing is, I'm sure that there is a lot to be made out there in the midterm rentals, just like there's a lot to be made in long-term rentals or investing in the stock market or anything else that you invest in. I am sure that there is a bunch of money out there. A couple of the ones, or at least the one that I hear most often, is Furnished Finder. And this is where folks that are traveling, I especially heard a lot about this during COVID, when nurses were traveling from place to place and they needed several weeks or months to stay. The thing about this is you start getting into the area of tenant law, where if someone stays typically more than like 28 to 30 days in most states, they have tenant laws, and the tenant landlord laws apply, and they're not guests anymore like they are with short-term rentals. So if you want to go out there and do medium-term rentals, that's fine. That's not what this channel or what I am into. So for the purposes of renting short-term rentals, I am not going to get into medium-term. Now, where there is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel comes in the direct booking website, and that goes also into another thing that we're going to talk about with Google. But direct booking websites is someplace where someone can book your place directly with you. There's no platform, there's no Airbnb, there's no VRBO there, and there's a lot of ins and outs and a lot of ways that you can do this. It's like every day I hear of a new way to start a direct booking website, and I'm going to talk with you guys about the one that we have through our property management software, which is Hospitable. They offer a direct booking website that they create if you sign up for their premium plan, and I didn't intend to get many bookings through this, so I didn't want to put a bunch of money into web design for a direct booking website, so I use theirs. It looks pretty good, and if you guys are on Hospitable, you can check that out. Other management software, such as ZonaRes and such, they have integrations with all this as well, but I can only speak to what I have done. And what you can do with this is you can market this directly to folks, and what I do is I use it on the local area Facebook pages. So like there's like a Sevierville, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, cabin owners thing, or stays and whatever. I see people post what they're looking for, and I will respond and say, hey, I've got these dates. This is how much it costs. You can book direct with me, and you can save a ton over Airbnb and VRBO, and that is the case. They're probably going to save somewhere between 10, 15, maybe even 20% versus booking with the platforms. I also just go ahead and market my places. I say these are the dates that I have available. This is a brief description of the place, and you can book direct through us, and that saves them a lot of money. It would save me the 3 or 8%, be it Airbnb or VRBO, and then they can, have their vacation and save a little bit of money. You can also market it out to people on social media. There's been a lot of success with this. I've seen several people on TikTok that have a lot of success renting their places directly through their social media marketing. You can market on Instagram, Facebook. You can use targeted ads where you target certain areas, certain levels of income, certain demographics of all different types. You can do this on Facebook, I know of, and I'm sure that you can do it on many other places. I really haven't dove into any type of targeted ad, mainly because Airbnb and VRBO keep my calendar completely full, but those are some ways that you can promote your direct booking website and start getting some bookings that aren't through Airbnb and VRBO. Now, Google Vacation Rentals is a very new thing that has kind of come out onto the scene for short-term rentals, and it basically is like if you go onto Google and you're looking for a flight or you're looking for a hotel or a rental car, you can book those directly through Google. They will just scrape that information off of the different providers, be it US Airways or Hertz Rentals or Hilton Hotels or whatever it is, and they've started doing this with vacation rentals. The best part about having a Hospitable direct booking website is that they have gone ahead and ported those to Google Vacation Rentals so that folks that are looking for a vacation rental through Google can find your places, and I've looked and made sure that mine are on there. They're on there. They direct that to your direct booking website, and it's just another way for you to get your properties out there and try to get some bookings. Thus far, through my direct booking website and through Google Vacations, I have received exactly 0 bookings, which brings me back to the point that I made just a few minutes ago that Airbnb and VRBO dominate my calendars. They keep them full, and it really require very little effort on my part. And so when you look at the couple of bad things that you have to deal with Airbnb and VRBO, the fees that you have to pay, they're obviously marketing very well. My places are staying full. I'm making a lot of money. And so really right now, at in the fall of 2023, there's not really a very good alternative to Airbnb and VRBO where they're going to do most of the work for you, do most of the marketing for you, and get your places full. If you're willing to put in a little bit of work, the direct booking websites, maybe through social media or through targeted ads, and if you can get your stuff on Google Vacations, I think that's going to be an interesting platform that is going to gain traction over time and maybe give Airbnb and VRBO a little bit of run for their money, because Google is, giant corporation that has unlimited resources, it seems. And so that competition can be good for Airbnb and VRBO to maybe reduce their fees and, have to compete with this massive tech giant that is Google. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button for me. Subscribe down below if you haven't subscribed so you don't miss anything that I put on the channel about anything short-term, Airbnb, VRBO, direct booking related. Click on one of the links up here. It tells you all about the types of cabins we buy. We have a playlist of all of our cabin tours, and it tells you guys all about all the trials and tribulations of running a short-term rental business from a distance, how we do it, all of our automation. I appreciate you guys watching today, and I'll see you in the next one.